Like Michelle, she should change her name to Misery Obama. That's really what I think of when Misery Obama never has a positive word to say. Never. Not about children, not about family, certainly not about her husband. By the way, before we leave this topic, here's her latest soundbite that made the rounds. This happened on June 18th, but I was off. Here it is, SOT 39.
You should have threw a boy in the mix.
I would. I'm so glad I didn't have a boy.
Yeah.
Because he would have been a Barack Obama.
It's like baby Barack. It would have been amazing.
Ooh, no, I would have felt for him.
And again, pure speculation, folks. I may be fully wrong here. I think she's taking a page out of Jada Pinkett's playbook because I think they're getting ready to announce that something's going on in the marriage. And I think this is their way of doing it in a very subtle way, because if you're taking shots at him slowly, you're taking shots, they're going in games in different ways. I'm not sure if there's been an entanglement or not, but I think there may be a possibility of a news coming here soon that could actually get her podcast to blow up. And you know what could get her podcast to blow up? If she announces that they're getting a divorce. Yeah. That day, they'll get a few 100,000 subs. And then that's where the controversy will come. So I don't know if she's trying to do the Jada thing and finding the next thing to, what was her podcast that she was doing? It was called Red Table or something like that. And then Will came on because you know who's going to be a guest very soon. Obama.
What happens when you combine Megyn Kelly's prosecutorial precision with Patrick Bet-David's boardroom brutality? You get a cross-examination of the Michelle Obama brand so sharp, her ghostwriters felt it. They form a tag team of intellectual assassins, dissecting every facet of her curated reality, from the performative wellness crusades to the masterclass in strategic victimhood. This isn't your standard political commentary. This is a corporate-level hostile takeover of a public narrative, executed with style, substance, and savage truths. It's a takedown that promises to be pure, unadulterated, classy carnage.
From the Barack Michelle Obama appearance, the podcast, because everybody thinks they're getting a divorce, and let's face it, they probably are. She dragged him onto her show with brother Craig, and the following took place. Here's how it started in SOT 36.
Barack Obama, can you join us on
Come
our
on
set?
out here, brother.
Welcome
man.
to IMO. Look at you.
Wait, you guys like each other?
Oh yeah, really? Huh?
That's so
The
nice.
rumor mill. It's my husband, y'all.
She took me back.
Now don't start.
I can't.
It was touch and go for a while.
It's so nice to have you both in the same room
I
together.
know.
I know, because when we aren't, folks think.
Let's conduct a case study in Michelle Obama's brand of activism, starting with the infamous Let's Move campaign. It was an initiative sold as hope, but felt like a lecture, paved with good intentions and probably avocado toast. This was her signature crusade, which in practice meant declaring a holy war on the American school lunch. An entire generation of students still has PTSD from the Great Chicken Nugget Purge of 2012, when their lunches were replaced with joyless, nutrient-dense bricks. The infamous quinoa surprise became a legend, mostly because the surprise was always a profound sense of culinary despair.
You should have threw a boy in the mix.
I would. I'm so glad I didn't have a boy.
Yeah.
Because he would have been a Barack Obama.
It's like baby Barack. It would have been amazing.
No, I would have felt for him.
She just borrowed our boys.
Yes, I got plenty.
Wow.
Did you catch that? She's glad she didn't have a boy because he would have been a Barack Obama. And that's a hard pass for her. This woman can't stand him. She can't.
Wait a minute. Now I like her. She prevented another Barack in the world. The Iranian regime quakes. We could have had another shot.
She won't run for office for one simple reason. It would expose her perfectly curated brand to the one thing it can't withstand: unscripted scrutiny. It is far more powerful and profitable to remain the untouchable symbol of hope, occasionally appearing in the public consciousness like a motivational Bigfoot. Megyn Kelly and Patrick Bet-David didn't need a complex strategy to deconstruct this. They just used facts and a shared exhaustion with the performance. They see a woman who claims to be above the political fray, while methodically climbing the ladder in heels forged from pure moral superiority. In the end, it all comes down to control. Control of her narrative, control of her platform, and control of the throne she publicly shuns but privately keeps redecorating just in case.
I've been doing the work and going to therapy and just figuring out, like, what happened those 8 years we were in the White House?
What happened that 8 years?
What did that do to me internally, my soul?
No one talks about this.
No, they don't.
We made it through.
We got out alive.
I hope we made the country proud.
My girls are whole.
But what happened to me?
What happened?
She looks. Why would you ever post this picture? No. The people were, and I'm actually not being funny. They were asking Barack, why would you ever post this picture? What part of Michelle's picture? Barack looks great. That is not a.
Can you close up on her, Rob?
Actually, don't. But can you zoom out a little bit? Not for bad reasons. It's just she doesn't look good in that picture.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't look good. So guess what you do when sometimes you don't look good? You ask and you say, hey, babe, you okay if I post this picture? No, use this one. Use that one. Use this one. So I don't even know why he posted the picture. You know, he has his own reasons for posting a picture. So a lot of people said, why are you even doing this? It's not cool for you to post a picture like this. So who knows what's going on?
If you value commentary that sees through the performance, make sure you're subscribed and the bell is on. Let's talk about Michelle Obama, the woman who turned the food pyramid into a political platform and treated a head of lettuce with the gravity of a Supreme Court nomination. She emerged from the White House with the swagger of a recent convert to social media, seemingly convinced that a podcast deal is a substitute for a political philosophy. Now, she's on her 14th reinvention, playing the reluctant stateswoman, while orchestrating a media blitz with the intensity of a pop star's comeback tour that nobody requested.
Woman is a one-woman destitution derby. Every time we check in on her at her podcast, she is feeling sorry for herself. She is criticizing Barack Obama or this country. She never has a positive word to say about anything. And the latest example was when she went on this other guy's podcast, Jay Shetty. She goes and sits down with him, and he asks her, what are you afraid of? And she starts off by saying, well, it's not, my fears aren't for me. You know, I think about the streets. My fears aren't for me.
Well, in this current climate for me, it's, what's happening to immigrants.
I mean, I travel in a 4-car motorcade after all.
Patrick Bet-David sees right through the brand because to him, it's not a movement, it's a product launch. The entire Michelle Obama phenomenon smells like a hostile takeover bid for power, marinated in focus-grouped self-help platitudes. He's a businessman who recognizes a slick ad campaign when he sees one, and her public persona is a masterclass in A/B tested perfection. Her reluctant leader routine is the centerpiece of this strategy. The whole, oh, I couldn't possibly act, delivered while accepting another magazine cover shoot. It's the political equivalent of feigning stage fright while grabbing the main stage microphone at Coachella. And let's not forget her signature communication style, her Olympic-level mastery of passive aggression. As PBD notes, she's the Simone Biles of the backhanded compliment, an artist of subtle superiority. She won't attack you directly. That would be unseemly. Instead, she'll hit you with that beatific, knowing smile, offer a humble brag packaged as a teachable moment, and ground it all in a sanitized story about her struggle. A story that conveniently concludes with her discovering enlightenment and organic kale on a flight to Martha's Vineyard.
Michelle Obama slammed for whining about costs in the White House. Okay. I don't know if you guys have seen this or not. This is her speaking with, is this the diaries of a CEO, right? So, Rob, if you can play this clip, this is her talking about how expensive it was to live in the White House. Go for it. So, what are you thinking when you're giving this message? Like, what are you thinking in your mind? Because let's do data. Rob, can you type in Obama's net worth in 2007? What was Obama in 2007? 1.2 million, 1.3 million. Okay. So their net worth is, let's write this down. This is pre-White House. Their collective net worth was 1.3 million. Can you go to where their net worth was in 2007 2016, when they're done being presidents, okay? 2016, so their net worth, as expensive as it was, they went from being 1.3 million to 12.2 million. So that's 10xing your net worth.
Somewhere, Megyn Kelly is reacting with an eye roll so profound, it's causing a minor seismic event. And she's not the only one. Patrick Bet-David approaches the topic with the laser focus of a CEO auditing a failing company. He brings a unique blend of boardroom skepticism and street-smart analysis, seeing straight through the performance because, to him, Michelle's public brand is all sizzle and no steak. A beautifully designed website with nothing but a 404 error on the back end.
So expensive being at the White House. It was so expensive that our net worth went from 1.3 million to 12.2 million 8 years later. What an expensive lifestyle. And then you go from 12.2 million to $70 million. What do you think the average person that listens to this, do you think they connect to that, Michelle? I'm just curious. You're a very good communicator. Very. You were very good on stage. One of the best. You know how to rally. You actually do. Barack used to say, if I ever needed to win an election, I put Michelle on stage. I've heard that many times. Who are you inspiring with that message you're giving? Think about another younger African-American girl that's listening to this. Do you think you inspired her to want to be a first lady? What do you think you did?
Somewhere between turning school cafeterias into culinary gulags and transforming Netflix into a shrine to her own significance, Michelle crowned herself the high priestess of authenticity. This is a bold claim for someone whose public image is managed more tightly than a tech giant's NDA. You don't just stumble into a portfolio of book deals, documentary series, podcasts, and lifestyle brands. That's not serendipity. That's a multi-pronged business strategy executed with more foresight than a chess grandmaster on a 3-day espresso binge. As Megyn Kelly states plainly, this isn't empowerment. It's a masterclass in manipulation packaged as inspiration. Her entire public-facing persona is an emotional TED Talk, stitched together from vague affirmations and PR-polished sincerity. It's as if a Hallmark card gained sentience and developed political ambitions. Patrick Bet-David watches this unfold like a cynical network executive forced to greenlight a spinoff for a character everyone hates, because he sees the truth. This isn't about wellness or unity. It's about power, neatly packaged in a gluten-free artisanal vegan cupcake.
Okay, what is the market saying? Maybe the market is saying we don't want no victim mentality messages anymore. It's done. It's not attractive. Be a hero. Sell a young girl. Man, one day you can also be. And let me tell you, there's burden that comes with this, but it's worth it. You're doing it for your country. Brock and I are very grateful to have the life that we have now because we work very hard. You can as well if you pursue your dreams. Instead, life was so expensive. In the back of my mind, I wish you wouldn't have won. Give me a flipping break. Like you're a hero to millions of girls. This is how we speak. I don't know about that. I mean, to me, it's like, give me a break already.
Even Michelle's down-to-earth moments are so manicured, they feel like a soundstage on The Truman Show. She shares workout videos to prove she's just a regular mom, casually leg-pressing a small car, while actual mothers are just trying to survive on caffeine and existential dread. Her version of reality seems to involve personal trainers and custom-built Pilates equipment. At this rate, she's one aura cleansing crystal away from launching a line of zodiac-themed wellness products and blaming national problems on a planetary misalignment. And Patrick Bet-David isn't intimidated by this. He's simply annoyed. Annoyed by the expectation that we must all participate in this collective fiction, that we must pretend this isn't the most meticulously staged ascent to quasi-political royalty in modern history.
I've been doing the work and going to therapy and just figuring out, like, what happened those 8 years we were in the White House?
What happened that 8 years?
What did that do to me internally, my soul?
No one talks about this.
No, they don't.
We made it through.
We got out alive.
I hope we made the country proud.
My girls are whole
But what happened to me?
What happened?
Oh, but she's not running. Of course. She's just coincidentally giving keynote speeches in swing states, publishing motivational books that read like campaign literature, and forging alliances with tech billionaires. It's not ambition. She's just finding her voice. A voice that, curiously, broadcasts across every key demographic and streaming service like a wellness-themed political ad. She wants you to see her as the humble underdog, all while whispering platitudes into a studio microphone cradled by what can only be described as gold-plated humility. As Megyn Kelly has laid out, the math doesn't add up. The narrative is a whiplash of contradictions. One moment, she's recounting the hardship of a small apartment. The next, she's boarding a private jet to a climate summit to lecture the rest of us on our carbon footprint. That's not a personal evolution. That's a political magic act.
All right, so I added the numbers here. You got roughly 100 million followers. Imagine having 100 million followers and you sold your book and it was record-breaking a few years ago when she sold her book. I don't know what the number was. How many copies did Michelle Obama's book sell? I don't know what the number is, but I heard it was record-breaking. Okay, 17 million copies was sold worldwide in 2018. That's when they were really, their reputation set.
Her condescension has a uniform. It wears yoga pants, sips ethically sourced matcha, and structures every sentence like a Pinterest board was turned into a TED Talk. And every statement concludes with an inspirational mic drop, a perfectly timed glance or gesture that communicates, "I am not judging you, but you are being judged." Megyn Kelly, however, sees right through this motivational masquerade. She points out that Michelle dispenses wisdom like a recently enlightened suburban aunt who, after one wellness retreat, now thinks she's Deepak Chopra in stilettos. The messaging is always the same. Shine your light, rise above, embrace your truth. It all sounds wonderful, until someone mentions a substantive issue like crime or economic inequality. Then, the profound truth-teller persona evaporates, and all that's left is motivational wallpaper.
Love the way you talk about the need to get your independence because your marriage wasn't always what it should have been.
Right.
Okay, so she's going right in, like, independence is what it's about. Of course, you know, you had a shitty marriage. I can totally relate. And then can I just show you one more? Look at SOT 23. No, I'm sorry. It's the VO6, where the two of them get up and they start dancing. And this is part of the Michelle Obama attempted reinvention. I'm sorry, but I'm not impressed. To make herself into something cool. Here she is again. Make herself into something cool, Walter, that like we can relate to. She's a cool girl because she was first lady and yet she can get up there and dance with Beyonce's mom. I'm sorry, but all I can think is you hate the country.
Because when the difficult questions arrive, so does her tactical invisibility cloak. The response is either complete silence or a vague, pastel-colored Instagram post so soft it could make a baby unicorn weep. Her entire brand is engineered for emotional comfort, a product that's never too edgy, never too real. She is the undisputed queen of digestible inspiration, the reigning monarch of beautifully articulated nothingness. She is a human screensaver, propped up by a PR team that specializes in damage control, hashtag strategy, and what can only be described as emotional airbrushing. But Patrick Bet-David isn't impressed by the packaging. He values results, not rhetoric. And Megyn Kelly, who has navigated actual fire from presidents and Twitter mobs, isn't intimidated by Michelle's passive-aggressive sermons. It's not bravery to her. It's scripted boldness, a form of risk-free rebellion. She is a master of taking powerful stances on universally safe topics, while the world burns just outside the frame.
If they got a divorce, what's the big deal?
Nothing.
Okay.
Absolutely nothing.
So if they got a divorce and it didn't work out, Michelle's doing a podcast. I saw the numbers yesterday. their episodes keep getting fewer and fewer views, according to
You want me to tell you the numbers,
If
Matt?
you have it, yeah,
So
sure.
the new podcast continues to tank. The viewership is down over 75% compared to her first episode. Her viewership has been dropping since her show on March 12th. So it went from episode 1.
And then there's the podcast, a masterclass in faux vulnerability and the performance of depth. It's a never-ending stream of life lessons from a woman who likely has a team of assistants to manage her groundedness. As Patrick Bet-David might ask after listening, is this profound wisdom or just a verbal Pinterest board of inspirational quotes? She's aiming for a cultural trifecta, the influence of Oprah, the icon status of Beyoncé, and the gravitas of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, but with the humility of none and the ambition of all three. It's exhausting just watching the brand synergy. And that's the genius of her strategy. She doesn't need to run for office because she's already hacked the system, achieving influence without accountability and popularity without policy. She exists in a new category, political adjacent, the human equivalent of a high-production influencer, giving perfectly lit pep talks from a marble kitchen.
That right now? To say they've lost their influence and their sizzle of what the Obamas used to be would be an understatement. You get 17,000 subs. Vinny's Vitamin Comedy just crossed 300,000 subs. Unusual Suspect just crossed 100,000 subs. 17,000 subs. And by the way,
And still, the audience applauds with the conditioned enthusiasm of a trained SEAL, pretending this isn't just a sophisticated brand relaunch disguised as a social movement. As Patrick Bet-David noted, Michelle isn't leading a cause. She's franchising one. She adds just enough social justice seasoning to keep the product relevant, but never enough to alienate the corporate sponsors. Megyn Kelly can only laugh at the sheer audacity of it all. And the rest of us are left watching the previews for the next installment of the Michelle Obama Inspirational Cinematic Universe, coming soon to a streaming platform near you.